What is up, YouTube? Welcome along to another Let's Play on Farming Simulator with Dino. So, whilst since the last video, we finished planting the two fields that we're using at the moment. We're currently fertilising the final stage of fertiliser on field 6. We then need to go over and do field 11. In the meantime, I had a little look at ploughing in the field down the bottom, number 10. Now, because it's already ploughed, I can't hire a worker to plough it, which is quite annoying because trying to plough over ploughed, it just turn into here is atrocious. It just isn't working. So I've decided that we're gonna plant the cover crop down here. Now I'm hoping that the cover crop goes a little bit further than normal so that we can get a bit more done. And the plan with this cover crop is really just to give us something to plough back in. Now that will also add a stage of fertilisation to this field, so it'll definitely be worthwhile doing. As you can see, I got to there before I got bored of the ploughing. So I'm just going to try and do some of the edge of this and just try and make it a little bit better. Because eventually I think we will be coming back down here. It is right next to our other field, field 11, with a little jitty through. It kind of really makes sense to do all of our work down here to save keep moving the combine. That for me really is kind of key. To stop moving that combine would be an absolute pleasure. So I know I said that wow, look at that, the price of soybean, it's really good. Well, I had a little look at the map and I've kind of noticed that two of our neighbours are also growing. Actually, let me just hire this guy out a second, and that's where I want to go. Right, so down the bottom here, field 16 and 17, as you can see, one is ready to harvest and one's not far off being ready to harvest. They had planted soybeans, so I'm quite keen for us to keep an eye on the price. Yeah, look at that, the price has tumbled, where the price is actually recovering a little bit for the canola, I believe. If you've watched the last video, I might have to go double check, but I think that has improved a little bit through the night. So I think we need to keep an eye on what other farmers are planting and what they're growing. Every other field appears to be non-planted. However, I'm not certain that some of those, like field 3, that was planted a little while ago. But yeah, nothing appears to be planted at the moment. It's all either ploughed or cultivated or ours. So down the bottom there, we've just got 16 and 17, which are actually producing against us, so to speak. So we're planting in the radish here, which pressed the wrong button. There we go. Which should hopefully mean that we can start using this field again as of tomorrow, probably. I think we'll wait for it to grow. We might as well gain the benefits from having planted this. this crop. Oh, my seeding is atrocious. Actually, just about all of my tractor driving on this game is bad. I'm quite a good haul driver, but trying to keep the tractor in a straight line for me is a nightmare. You have got, let me have a quick little look at the buttons here. There we go. We have got ridge markers. So what that does is you extend out the side that you're running against, so the side that you've not worked on, or the side that you're going to next is maybe yep, I thought I did. Now, missing a little bit on this isn't end of world. At the end of the day, all it really means is that I don't get that section fertilised when I come back over this next time and plough it in. As long as we get most of it, because what we really want from this is so that it's all ploughed. The reason being that it gets rid of that red bit round the edge when we bring the field deleter down here, because we need to square this field up. It's a nightmare with how it's shaped. So I think one more pass along the top there. We'll finish the top section up. Let me bring the ridge markers back in. So yeah, basically the ridge marker is designed so that you then drive down the middle of the line that the ridge marker has created for you, and that keeps you on the straight and narrow. Those are the plans. Because I am so bad at it, I really do tend to not do a massive amount of my own planting. Let me just turn that off a second while we get in the tractor back where it needs to be. That's it. Oh, helps if you lower it as well. So that was just a way for us to line it up, is the excuse I'm going to use. There we go. So yeah, with the ridge markers down, it does become a bit easier. You just put the front of your tractor on the ridge and off you go. It means when you come out, you're doing a grand job behind yourself. But what we're going to do is we're going to swing over here so we're a little bit closer, and then just hit the higher button. Yeah, he can carry on doing that. We'll come back and tidy up in a moment. How's this guy getting on? Let's just check, make sure we're not missing anything here. So we have missed a little bit up the top there, but I had noticed before he started that was also hadn't been properly fertilised before. So we won't hold that against him. And he is... Oh, I don't know quite what his problem was then. Okay, that's working a treat now. So we should be able to go back to our cows now. Productivity is at 72%. The cleanliness could be improved, and that's really about it. That would get us up another sort of, I think it's 5%. That would raise us, and we're then just missing out on 30% of production, because we're not feeding it the power food, which is the mixed rations. So yeah, the price of the soybean is really dropping down on us now. I'm really glad we never planted any of that. So this guy's going to have one more pass to make. I We'll drive that one ourselves quickly, as it's just this final little bit down here. I can definitely make sure I cover all of that. And then what we'll do is we'll jump on the road, we'll drive round to the other field that we've been using. Come on, tractor. So we're desperately trying to get this done before the rain falls. You can see that up next to the time. That's the weather that you've got coming in. There we go. That'll do nicely. Yeah, I think what we'll do before we... No, we're just going to head on over to the other field now. I was going to go and tidy the cows up a little bit. But to be honest, they can kind of put up with the mess. They've created it. So I do think one of the next time we sell the crops, I think we're going to be buying ourselves a jet wash. We definitely need to smarten up the act on some of our equipment. It's very, very dirty. Although if it rains in a moment, that would be really handy, because rain actually cleans the equipment for you as well. It's not quite how it works in real life. If the motor's dirty and it gets rained on, just more dirt sticks to it. But at least it means everything gets cleaned up now and then. It's not the cheapest of things to be cleaning your vehicles in this game. I know when they first introduced the jet wash, and people were jet washing all of their equipment every time they came in, and then they noticed that it was actually costing them a cost of water for using the jet wash, and yeah, they was being made broke quite quickly. I don't know if that is still the case. Most of the farms that I play on away from YouTube, they're quite established, so it's really not something I have to worry about. There's plenty of money to go around. So we'll just fill up out of that one there, and we'll go buy ourselves 3 more, I think. Guess who didn't think about it? Yeah, that's right, it's me. We don't have enough money to buy a new seed with. New fertiliser, sorry, I keep calling it seed tonight. Yeah, okay, that's annoying. So we're going to set this guy to go and start fertilising, because to be brutally honest with you, when it's like this, you just can't see where you've been. When we come in here, you can see that it is working, but yeah, an absolute nightmare to do by yourself. So we'll quickly flick back to this guy, and we're actually getting this sowed quite quickly and cheaply. That's also very important. I was a little concerned that the oil rapeseed, I think it is, we're planting. Yep, I can't see how we can tell now. But yeah, the oil rapeseed, it had to be cheap, because it's costing us and we're not going to be getting anything out of it to sow this seed, this field. It had to be cheaply done. We're going to quickly fire the worker there and just tidy up the edge of this field. I believe the other end is doing okay. Okay. Just tidy this up. Now, is that a section that I've missed there over to the right? I'll tell you what, we'll quickly have a little look. I wonder if it's a dodgy bit of ground. Yep, there we go, that got it. Alright, we'll lift that up so we can drag this over there a bit quicker. I think what we'll do, we'll actually just get caught on the fence, on the gate. How annoying. Oh, not as annoying as that. Okay, then back that way. Eesh. All because I wanted to get close to this edge. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just back the tractor up and we'll get the worker to run a line for us as a straight line. He can then work to the left of that, going backwards and forwards for us, and we'll just come in and tidy up this this other section. It's how I try to do the uneven fields. Is I will create a square that the worker can work to, and then I kind of colour in the edges. You can do all of this work yourself, guys. I'm being quite lazy with it, partially because the worker tends to do a much better job of getting everything. As you can see, I have to go over sometimes 2 or 3 times in certain spots. And at the end of the day, the worker kind of does what he does, but does it quickly and efficiently. So we just quickly turn off there while we're spinning around. That's it. So it's not too bad doing this. From this angle as well, you can make sure that you're getting most of the job done. So we're just going to set the worker going again. So we'll get that field planted, get this fertilised, and I think I'll possibly even get it harvested. We really need to keep moving with this. I'd like to get us more cows. That I think is definitely somewhere we need to go next. So I'll be back in a moment, guys. 2 seconds. So here we are. The weather has come in on us. We don't mind being out in it too much. But as you can see, it is cleaning the vehicle for us. It's the trailer that needs cleaning more than anything though. Look at the state of that. So I thought it was rain, but that is possibly hailstones. It sounds quite wintry. It looks quite wintry. It's amazing, the graphics on this game. It really is. So just to go in cab. As you can see, the front of the tractor there's a lot cleaner than it was. The windscreen's a bit cleaner. Some of the the mods, the tractor mods and stuff, some of them actually have working wipers, and you can come in and open doors and mess with levers in the cab. The detail of this game is really quite phenomenal. So the combine is looking a bit cleaner. It doesn't clean it up brilliantly, perfectly, but it's certainly a lot better. the other thing to bear in mind is the weather does also have an impact on the jobs you can do. So at the moment, if our crop was to be ready for harvesting, which it's not at the moment, the other field actually is. Somehow they've managed to split the spawn on the fields. Yeah, when we get down the other end, you'll probably see the other field. It's ready to be harvested, but in these conditions, you can't harvest. It's as simple as that. The crop gets wet, and when the crop gets wet, it spoils. So it is quite realistic in that sense. As you can see, it's going to have cost us roughly 600 litres probably by the time we've finished to do this field. If we just change the yeah, that's great. As you can see there, it's pretty much completely filled in. That should be fine. As you can see, field 11 there is ready for harvesting. In fact, this field has just grown a little bit on us in places. That's fine. This is ready now to be ploughed back in, I believe. If we flick back into here quickly, no, that's still another growth stage. That is the second growth stage. So there's just a little bit. We'll actually cancel our worker there now, and we've got that lowered, turned on. Here we go. So because we cultivate as we go, we are replanting over all of this crop that had already grown. It'll be interesting to have a little look on the map in a second, just to have a little look and see if that section there has been fertilised 3 times, because obviously we are fertilising as we seed. So we fertilised as we seeded before, it then grows and you then plough it back in, which fertilises it again, and then we've just planted and fertilised. So that should be 3 stages of fertilisation in theory. Practice is often a different matter though. So we have slowed down time a little bit there. Okay, that's that done. Let's have a look at the map. Let's have a look at the... we can't tell. Because at the moment it's just telling us that it needs to be ploughed. Okay, so that's that job done. We'll attempt to squeeze ourselves back out of the field. Like I say, with any implements on this, it's an absolute pain in the tuchus. There we go, we successfully managed that though. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and crash the tractor. No, we'll go and fill this seeder back up. And then we're good to go for once we've got some of the harvesting done. We can actually hire the worker to chase us a little bit, because we can have a worker hired to do the harvesting. We can have this guy hired doesn't want to fill up. How annoying. Am I pushing the right button? You know, I wouldn't put it past me. Yeah. Okay, that's annoying. Why won't you fill up? I bet you'll fill up with... No, he's not willing to load up either at the moment. Okay, interesting. So, what of our compadres? Okay, so they've not actually harvested theirs yet. What are we looking at for prices here? Sunflowers are good, but we have no header to actually harvest those. We've not harvested barley for a while. There you go. We just needed to swap out there to reset the implement. Or maybe I was actually on the wrong implement. If I was on the front weight, then obviously it wouldn't have loaded, because you can't load a front weight. That's just the way that is. So yeah, it cost us £690 to go and seed SIL-10 with the fertiliser. Now, that would actually add a chunk of time to doing the job. But it is actually a lot more cost effective to do it that way than it is to pay for the fertiliser. So we need to get the time pumping forward a little bit here. So yeah, the way I'll do this is we'll trim a little bit with the harvester. Once the harvester is probably a quarter of the way through this field, we'll actually get the seeder set up so the seeder can start going, and we'll then have the seeder chase him. Now, the reason we get at least a quarter of the field done is that the seeder will travel twice as quickly as the combine over the field. So you need to let it have a bit of a head start. We just need it to actually get done. So the problem we're going to have is we're going to be entering a night harvest again now. It's really not the favourite way I like to operate. I much prefer doing everything during daylight hours. But with the plant withering, it really is something you have to be conscious of and be aware of. There we go. We can bring that speed right back down, turn the combine on, and off we go. So yeah, we'll get a few passes done here before we turn the work over to a worker. I'm always happiest harvesting when I'm chopping up or obviously collecting the soy or canola. And that's because you're not trying to leave a nice neat row that you're going to come along afterwards and try and pick up. If you're collecting the straw following a harvester that's wandered all over the place, it's a real nightmare to make a nice neat job of it. So yeah, I don't mind harvesting when it's like this. So if we can get a decent amount for this, I'm trying to think how much we got last time. Was it 80,000 roughly? How many is that? That would be another 40 cows. If we can get 80,000, that's another 40 cows. That would take our cow count up to 50. And then we need to start getting a little bit more proactive with feeding the cows and all of that good stuff. So we'll do a quick spinny, turn it up. That does annoy me with the controller. It doesn't always recognise that you've got the bumper button pushed down. That is most annoying. So at the moment we haven't got any workers actually employed. So that 4,277 shouldn't go down any, at least not till midnight. But come midnight, that's when we also sell our milk. That's when the milk truck turns up. He picks up all the milk we've collected throughout the day, and he gives us money for it. I'm not expecting too much in that regard. In fact, let me hit the worker button a second. Prices. Is there a section for the milk? I think that is the poop. Yeah, so no price for the milk. Yeah, there's how long we've been doing everything and how much we've done in total since we started. We're just coming up to 30 hours on that one. That's cray. Cleanliness is becoming a problem. I think actually what we'll do quickly then is we'll jump into the other tractor. We'll drop the trailer off. We don't need to be dragging the trailer along behind us. We'll quickly skip round this guy. Oh dude, you parked right in the way. There we go. So let's go and clean up these cows. They are definitely some dirty dogs, only 43%. But then we have fast timed quite a bit. I think we're at a good 12 hours since last the video was rolling. So yeah, it's not a great every sort of 8-10 hours I think you're going to realistically need to come down and have a tidy up. And oh yeah, look, there you go, you can see all of it everywhere. So again, you just lower the bucket, tilt it forward, and then drive over it all, scoop it all up. There we go. Oh. So the other thing I'm actually thinking about right now is maybe we need to get mixed rations going. Maybe we need to get our vehicle for making the mixed rations. Maybe that would help us out. Get us a little bit more bang for our buck with the cows. No, don't be so far away. Yeah, that's it. Right. Oh, no, it's not. There we go. Now, I have heard talk that with some of these buckets, you can actually cut grass. So, very early game, you could, in theory, feed your sheep using that method. It's not a method I would recommend. Sheep for me are they're fine, They're fun, but they're a real pain in the butt way to make money. Unless the map you're playing on... actually, let's just have a look quickly at... Okay, that'll go up for us. Yeah, we don't need to worry about the rest of that. We're going to drop the bucket off here now. So, as I said, remember, drop the bucket back out, drop the arms back out. There you go. So that's us cleaned up the cows. I'll just quickly fast forward through time a second. I don't want to go too much because obviously I'm wasting the remaining daylight. But there you go. We're back up to 100% cleanliness now. So that should push the production back up for us. Okay, so the combine is full. We're going to cheat, guys, and just whip through that hedgerow. To be honest, I can't believe that the field closest to our farm means we have to either drive down a road or drive down a lane before we can get into the field. I mean, there's not a farmer on this planet that wouldn't have sorted that problem out. We could, I suppose, go into Giant's Editor and we could edit the map and do it that way, but that's a little bit much. I can't be dealing with all of that. So there you go. We're set up, good to go there. We've dismissed the worker so that we can get him to go up and take in this other section. Let's turn him off. He moves so slowly. There we go. Turn him back on. So that's it. We're off and rolling again. We'll hit the worker button. So we're going to call the video there, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share it with your friends. It's been fun, it's been emotional, and of course if you've not done so already, hit the subscribe button, guys. Take care, good night, be good, bye bye.